In the scorching heat of a dusty road outside Seville, where the Andalusian sun beat down like an unrelenting drum, Victoria Mendoza's luxury sports car sputtered to a halt with a dramatic cough of smoke. Victoria, a self-made millionaire in her 40s, clad in designer sunglasses and a silk blouse that screamed opulence, slammed the steering wheel in frustration. "Of all places," she muttered, glancing at the barren landscape dotted with olive groves. Her empire in real estate had made her accustomed to control, but here, stranded miles from the nearest city, she felt utterly powerless. Little did she know this breakdown would crack open her armored heart. Desperate, she flagged down a passing truck, and the driver pointed her to a nearby garage. El Taller de Carlos, run by a local mechanic named Carlos Ruiz. Victoria trudged the half-mile in her impractical heels, sweat beading on her forehead, her phone signal as absent as her patience. Arriving at the modest workshop, a ramshackle building with faded blue paint and tools scattered like forgotten toys, she spotted him, a man in his late 30s, grease-streaked overalls clinging to his sturdy frame, wiping his hands on a rag. Two young children, a boy of about 8 and a girl of 5, played nearby, the boy tinkering with a toy car while the girl drew in the dirt with a stick. "Excuse me," Victoria called out imperiously, her voice echoing like a command in a boardroom. "My car broke down up the road. It's a Ferrari, top of the line. I need it fixed now." Carlos looked up, his warm brown eyes meeting hers without flinching. He nodded politely. "Of course, señora. Let me grab my tow truck. What's the problem?" As he moved to help, she sized him up. No wedding ring, a simple life etched in the lines on his face, the kid's clearly his. A smirk curled her lips. "Single dad, huh? Running this little shop all alone? Must be tough being, well, soltero. Inútil y torpe." She laughed lightly, the words slipping out like venom wrapped in silk. Single, useless, and clumsy. It was her way, honed from years of cutthroat deals, to belittle those she deemed beneath her. Carlos paused for a split second, his expression unchanging, but a flicker of hurt crossed his eyes before he masked it with a professional smile. The children glanced up, the girl tilting her head curiously. Without a word, he hooked up the tow and brought the Ferrari back to the garage. Victoria watched from the shade, fanning herself with a magazine, expecting a long wait filled with excuses about parts or delays. But Carlos worked with quiet efficiency, his hands moving like a symphony conductor over the engine. He diagnosed the issue, a faulty fuel pump, in minutes, and using spare parts from his well-stocked shelves, had it replaced and purring smoothly in under an hour. "There you go, señora," he said, handing her the keys. "No charge. Consider it a neighborly favor." Victoria stared, dumbfounded. "No charge? But why? And how did you fix it so fast?" She had expected incompetence, a chance to assert her superiority. Instead, this useless man had outshone any high-end mechanic she'd ever hired. As she hesitated, the little girl approached, holding out a crumpled drawing of a red car. "For you, señora. Papa fixes everything," the boy added shyly. "He's the best, even when Mama left us." The words hung in the air, painting a picture of quiet resilience. Carlos had been raising them alone for 3 years, after his wife abandoned them for a life in the city. He worked tirelessly, not just fixing cars, but mending broken dreams, teaching his son to read under the garage lights, braiding his daughter's hair before school. An unexpected turn gripped Victoria then, a profound realization washing over her like a sudden rain. She saw her own reflection in Carlos's story. Orphaned young, she'd clawed her way to wealth through sheer grit, but in the process, she'd built walls of cynicism, mocking others to mask her loneliness. This man, with nothing but his hands and heart, embodied the selflessness she'd long forgotten. I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice cracking for the first time in years. "I was wrong. You're not useless, you're extraordinary." Tears welled in her eyes as she thought of her empty mansion, her fortune amassed at the cost of human connections. The emotional climax built as Victoria knelt to the children's level, accepting the drawing with trembling hands. "Your papa is a hero," she told them. Turning to Carlos, she pulled out her checkbook. "Please let me help. Not as charity, but as gratitude." She wrote a check for enough to expand his garage into a full-service shop, complete with apprenticeships for local youth. But more than money, she offered something deeper. Her time. I'll sponsor your kids' education, and if you'll have me, I'd like to learn from you about fixing more than just cars." Carlos, ever humble, accepted with a nod, his eyes shining. In that moment, her act of generosity transformed them both. She, from an isolated tycoon to a compassionate ally. He, from a struggling father to an empowered one. As Victoria drove away, the Ferrari humming beneath her, she glanced back at the garage in her rearview mirror, a smile breaking through her tears. Carlos waved, the children jumping excitedly beside him. In the days that followed, their paths intertwined. Victoria visited often, helping with the business expansion, while Carlos taught her the value of simple kindnesses, like sharing a meal or listening without judgment. The town buzzed with the tale, a reminder that true wealth lies in the humanity we extend to others. And so, under the vast Spanish sky, Victoria learned that laughter born of scorn can turn to joy, born of connection. In a world quick to judge, acts of selflessness bridge the divides, proving that the power of humanity shines brightest in unexpected places. Be kind, for it mends not just machines but souls, and in giving we receive the greatest riches of all.